Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only Turbo, okay? Today we're talking about the big yellow toad, the big yellow frog. Well, he's technically a toad. Some call him a frog, some call him a toad. He is technically a toad, so he's a toad. But at the end of the day, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you know what, right? If you haven't got your cold hard wallet, boom, you should get Turbos. No, I am not sponsored by Turbo, and no, I am not using clearly my radio voice to announce this Turbo Tango Tangem wallet. But no, seriously though, if you do not have, if you're not protected, which you always should be protected, unless of course you're married. Anyways, if you're not protected, then make sure to grab this wallet, right? Like I said, I'm not sponsored. I'm not affiliated with Turbo. I just love Turbo. And exchanges are good. Exchanges are generally good. Let's be honest, right? They're fairly safe. They're fairly this. By the end of the day, you want to have your money spread out. If you are going to be in exchanges, you don't really want too much money on exchanges just in case something does go sour because, cold wallets, hard wallets, whatever you want to call them, all these types of wallets are always better than an exchange. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it might require a little bit of work, the extra step or two, but would you really, in the end, care about the extra step or two if you knew you're much safer, right? If you're much safer. And unlike condoms, just actually has a good feeling knowing you're safe, right? Anyways, I don't know what's up. I think it's the coffee, but ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the toad. Let's talk about the toad. We actually see, the views are starting to get higher on Turbo as well because, ladies and gentlemen, this thing actually has made big strides over the last day or two. And we can see it's not done. It is not done yet, okay? We talked about how last time this thing exploded and took out very, very key zones, right? It took out our last relevant high, right? Our last relevant rally in May, and it took out these January last relevant highs here too, okay? So, you know me, I personally think the markets are rigged. And this actually helps me a lot in terms of trading, in terms of my philosophy, and in terms of expecting, where price should end up and just, cashing out and all that other stuff. But look, for me, this is actually a very great sign. You know me, I've been saying Turbo is manipulated for a very long time now, which is what you want, which is actually what you want. You want your coin to be manipulated. If your coin is not manipulated, if it does not get accumulated, if there's certain key fundamentals in your coin that do not happen, oof, right? Oof. You know what? I don't ever do this, right? I don't ever do this. And I'm actually not going to do this. I was gonna check out a coin mid turbo video to see if it's still in the dumps to show you an example of what a coin that, isn't manipulated if it does well. But honestly, it's so irrelevant that I do not remember. It was something about a potential TV show. It was something about a potential TV show, and it's called Hello Labs. Okay, so we're gonna look at Hello Labs just for 1 second, just because I want to show you this. Does this look like a healthy chart? Does this look like a healthy chart? People complain, say, "Oh, turbo scam, turbo scam." Guys, Turbo is a scam. That is how it would look like. That is how Turbo would look like. You want to see a bad coin? You want to see a bad project? Hello Labs is here. I'm sorry if you hold Hello Labs. My God, I pray for you. I pray for you because there's no way you're in profit unless you got in right now or you got in at the literal bottoms and you're like 5% in profit. This is a scam, people. This is a scam. We talked about this on this channel to get out. We talked about it. People were disliking the videos back then. They were saying, "Oh, you don't know. You didn't even mention the owner. You didn't even do this." Da, 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 da. Oh, yeah? Where are you guys now? In the dumps? Just like I said, right? And this isn't one of those things that, haha, I told you so, right? This isn't one of those things. But people are too arrogant, too cocky, too ignorant, and they don't have the actual knowledge. And they read a blueprint, they read the wallpaper, whatever you want to call it. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's enough," but they don't look at the actual details. They don't look at probability. They don't look at technical analysis. They don't understand a lot of stuff. And that that cockiness, that blindness, guys, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you if you're like this towards a lot of coins, even in life. You're going to get yourself hurt. People that have Hello Labs got hurt, okay? If you have Turbo, we called it all the time that Turbo is fine. We talked about Turbo's ratios before, that Turbo is fine, right? Turbo had some of the best ratios when it came to volume, right? And Turbo has proven itself multiple times ever since then, right? Turbo has. Even right now, we still have such high volume at 262 million, 450 million market cap. We broke records in volume. We broke records in being the most pumped coin. There was proof of whales accumulating back at the bottoms. There's been so many good things with Turbo. We know the innovation with Turbo. We know how, Turbo keeps kind of expanding the meme coin game, right? It's in metaverse, it's in this narrative, it's in that narrative, right? So, when you don't look at things blindly, when you're not super arrogant and ignorant, right, you will see everything crystal clear right in front of your face. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I showed you that Hello Labs coin, because I was like, no, I have to show you guys to understand what a real scam coin looks like, what a real dead project looks like. I know Turbo's a meme coin at the end of the day, but there were so many green factors towards Turbo that suggested that we weren't going to end up like Hello Labs. Look, Bitcoin is at its all-time high practically. Well, not literally, right? But it's near its all-time highs. Hello Labs has zero confirmation. Like literally, I'm telling you, there's zero confirmation of it like reversing. There's zero confirmation of it going up. It's still in a downtrend. It hasn't broken out of the damn downtrend. So people, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate Turbo. Appreciate it. Those that think Turbo is just another coin, you're wrong. And this coin will make strides. Anyways, let's jump into our technical analysis, right? So here are a few things. We probably will see some type of sell-off rejection right over here, depending on Bitcoin mainly, right? But our next move is to come back to here. This is going to be the main retest, okay? This is going to be the main retest because, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we swept all the key zones. We swept this high and we swept the last high, okay? So there's two things. Either the institutions are looking to tap into this specific wick and sell off a little bit more for a bigger correction, or, ladies and gentlemen, things are going to look good. Now, personally, like this daily candles looks really nice because it's a retest and it looks like it wants to go higher. As of right now, the 4 hour looks extremely great. On the 1 hour, we are just fundamentally going up, right? We are fundamentally going up. We practically have these double bottoms here, okay? And then it's just a game of ping pong, right? We have these double tops here. Okay, so we had, boom, we created double bottoms, we went up, created double tops. And then this Turbo had to make a choice. Well, Turbo actually decided to increase the floor, right? The floor got higher. And then guess what? The floor got higher. Boom, the roof got higher. So it's, bullish confirmation. And then when we did go back down for a retest, all we did was practically retest off of this double top over here. And then we continued to push to the upside. So Turbo should be seeing, at least in my opinion, another 11%. If the candle, listen to me, obviously I'll update you guys every single day, but if the candles start closing good, like up here at 0.0067-ish, then it's going to be good. If they start wicking, right, if they start showing rejections and we start closing lower, especially if we close lower than this candle here, then that is going to indicate some type of bigger correction before we make another attempt. Okay, so once again, if the candles close higher, right, if we have nice 4 hour candles close higher than 0.00632, then we should, that does indicate a higher high, and we should be looking to attempt to continue breaking to the upside, potentially all the way up to 0.0087. Again, that doesn't mean we're going to get back-to-back 50% pumps, 50% pumps, probably not, but it could happen fundamentally. We will see, right? We will see. Obviously, if Bitcoin dumps like 10K, ladies and gentlemen, then I don't expect, Turbo to hold. But I don't think this is Bitcoin's end. I really, really don't. Right? I really, really don't. And boom, there we go. Some of my stuff has completed. You know what I'm saying? Gonna hang out with the boys in a sec. And yeah, but I do expect Bitcoin to make another rally. Right? This is, at the end of the day, this whole area is a big retest. This line, we talked about this line, is a huge retest. And we can see as of right now, the daily candle close is closing above the line. So very, very good things to come. I expect Turbo to be pumping. If I was a betting man, which, ladies and gentlemen, we might start some betting streams if you want to see that. I want to do live streams. I want to talk about coins. I want to gamble on some stuff, gamble on some sites. You know what I'm saying? I want to take some risks with some other meme coins. I want to be calling out a lot of meme coins publicly and in the private community. I feel like these are going to be the most exciting times for crypto over the next few months. This time is going to be different. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys did enjoy this. I know it's kind of ping pong all over the place. That's what happens when you have too much caffeine, too much sugar. But anyways, love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.